My name is Rob Dennis. I own a company here on Music Row called Rack and Roll. We're a pro audio sales and rental company. That's one part of my career. The other part is I'm an independent engineer and producer. The mix room here on Music Row is kind of the gold standard for listening. It's a Tom Hidley designed studio. I believe at the time it was $1 million mix room. It's an exceptional listening environment. The reason for that is the original speakers that were in this room were tuned to the room, and likewise the room tuned to the speakers. The original speakers are gone. When ownership changed, the new owners wanted to put different speakers in the room. So now we've changed the equation of the room to the speakers, which became a problem. I found myself I couldn't get comfortable, especially the bottom end. Couldn't seem to get the bottom end right, which was crazy because of the pedigree of this. So I started going down a rabbit hole of recapping amps, replacing components in the speakers, and we still had this problem to figure out in the bottom end. And that's where Trinnov really made a huge difference in this mix room. When I first came to Trinnov, it wasn't in this room. I have a home studio as well. I'd set and mixed in that room for 18 years with okay results. I did a Trinnov demo, and what we found was unnerving. I found that I had a phase anomaly like 330 cycles. I found that I was up 5 dB at 50 cycles, and I was down, at 80. Hearing that corrected completely changed my soundscape. It's like the speakers went this way, and the depth came into focus. It was incredible. It wasn't subtle. Once I heard that first calibration, it was an absolute game changer. I didn't think I would hear that kind of fidelity at my space. I noticed where when I'm panning the stereo field, sometimes a couple of clicks, you don't really notice much change. All of a sudden, the panning accuracy became very apparent in the stereo field. Crazy detail. Like I definitely could hear the difference in like 20 to 25. Just a slight tilt was very obvious. I had a phase anomaly going on. I didn't realize initially that Trinnov was correcting phase as well as equalization. And hearing that, it's almost like there was a cloud that was lifted. I stay on my main speakers. My Trinnov, that's what I listen to. That's how I make my decisions. It's almost like I don't need the other speakers. It's just a reference that I enjoy going to. It's not necessary. Whereas before I was chasing. I would go to a certain pair of speakers to do vocal rides. I would go to another pair of speakers for fidelity. I would go to a mono speaker across the room for balance stuff. I found that all that stuff is there, but I don't go to it anymore. And I feel like I'm making very exact decisions. The changes that were coming back to me were more artistic changes. They weren't more bottom or there's not enough bottom. Trinnov absolutely changed that for me. And now it's a matter of taste, right? It's not my room affecting how much bottom I put in my mixes. It's a processor. It's going to live between your console and your speakers, and it's going to correct your room. And we will find some issues in your room. I mean, we always have. We're in $1 million Tom Hidley mix room, and there were things that needed to be addressed in this room. So it just became a must-have for me. I don't want to work in a space that doesn't have that calibration. It's guesswork. It's educated guesswork. A lot of my clients were like, well, I can put my Steely Dan CD in the CD player, stick my head between the speakers, and I can figure out. And I'm like, of course you can. That's what we've all been doing for a really long time. What I would say is, once you're not doing that, your mind relaxes. You're not thinking about that. You're not guessing. You're just being creative. And it kind of allows you to make quick, artistic little moves in a very matter-of-fact way. I find that more relaxing, and I find it more fun. And once everyone can hear, I think it makes for better collaboration. Once I discovered Trinnov and was working in my space, I would sell any piece of gear I have to have that in my chain. I now feel so strongly about that product. Any vintage mic or anything I own, I would sell to be able to listen like this. Because ultimately, once you can hear your bottom and your bottom's flattened out and you take the room out of the equation, you'll make decisions faster and get to your end result faster, and it makes better art.